Well, you know, people always ask the story about how the company got started.
So he went out to some knife making shops in the Ozarks.
It's kind of American, it's pretty heady, kind of, it's trippy American dream kind of stuff.
And came back and said, I'm going to make knives.
I hadn't really sunk my teeth into everything.
And started making knives. I said, oh, this is the next chapter in Greg's book.
Because, you know, 5 years ago, I was doing some stunt flying in an airplane to make a little money, and I was I had some karate schools, and
I didn't think anything of it. And then a year later, he hired a couple people, and then a year later, he hired, 4 people.
And I was doing what a lot of people do. I was just kind of getting by, and
then we moved to this spot, and now we have almost 20 people, and I had no idea it was going to grow into this. I'm just tickled.
And I started thinking about like everything I'd done in my life, and it was all of this. I had done service stuff and entertainment stuff. I was amusing people, and I was doing service. So I was earning a fair buck, but I wasn't making anything. I was just pushing around part of the pie that's already here. So I wanted to get into manufacturing.
I can't believe that he's able to market himself well and design knives and go out there and do all of the machining. I mean, he's just got a really broad understanding of everything. And I think that's why he's been able to bring it to where it is now.
I started the company, my whole notion was I was gonna convert raw materials made in the United States into an end product out the door. And my goal from the beginning is to bring every part of the process in-house. And unlike the kind of high-tech business model, which is a big office building and a bunch of people sitting at computer terminals, and manufacturing is not like that. This is very much like farming. It's a long-term, you got to plan far into the distance. Everything you do's got to matter. There's too much work to get done to do anything wasted or to do any fluff. It's really honest. I love knife making because it's so honest. You know, a guy can tell you he worked hard all day, and if he's only ground a couple of blades, proof's in the pudding. So we're very much a hand-making shop, and the fact that we grind all of our blades is a testament to that. I mean, all you'll see are hands on everything. There's nobody sitting in a chair looking at a computer screen. And bringing guys into manufacturing, even if it's only 20 or 25 people right now, if it turns into 100 people or 150 people, that changes my community and it leaves a big mark. So anybody who says, that we're in the post-American time, they're just the naysayers who always say that. I don't believe that for a minute. I think it's the American opportunity has been here for the taking for over 200 years, and it is as here for the taking as ever. So I've found, I know that there are these Americans who want to do something with their hands. They want to do something with their brain. They want to be smart, and they want to do it with their hands because it's so honest. But what's cool about this is you see some guy carrying your knife that you ground and you made and you were a part of, and it was nothing before that but sheets of raw material. And those guys who pull the ore out of the earth, they must see the sheets of raw material, and they must see it come through my place and get their rocks off at the very end. But I get the sexiest part of the chain of making. I get to dream it up, sketch it with a pencil, draw it in CAD on my computer, hand it to my team, and the pieces start coming together. And in a couple days, I have a done product in my hand. I mean, it's awesome. It's the creation act. It's as cool as it gets. So when I see it in a movie, I'm like, all the guys are always like, oh, that's pretty cool. When you're on vacation with your family and you step into a store and you see one of your knives in their like prized cabinet, it's pretty cool. So I've found a bunch of guys that they want to engage their minds, they want to have their hands busy, and they want their hearts in it, and their hearts are in it, and they're thinking about the end user. So at the end of the day, you look down and you go, you walk around the facility and you'll see piles of knives ground up. Well, somebody who just steps in from the outside, they just see a bunch of done knives, like, oh, cool. Like we just flip the switch and those just shoot out of the orgasmatron. It's the knife-matron. It just pops out blades, right? But we look at that and we go, look at all the work, all the sweat, all the tears that are in that implement right there. The biggest competitor I have in the world is China. And their government basically gives them almost free money to capitalize a business to basically steal market share from the world. And then they're allowed to basically pillage their environment and pillage their people. We're not allowed to do that, and we don't want to do that, because the people who work for me, they live in my neighborhood. These are, they're my countrymen. So we have got a social, intellectual purchase, a social fabric of protect the environment, protect the people, walk it along. These are our neighbors. We go to school together. So that the rising tide raises all boats. And that isn't the same in other parts of the world. But when you buy those products from those places, you're voting for them. You're voting for that. And your dollar matters. So what you're supporting, buy American. Don't buy American because we're better. Buy American because we stand for something better. We don't always get it right. But nobody on the planet Earth's got more treasure or blood involved in trying to make the world a better place. Nobody does than we. You can't find a country on the planet Earth where we're not there trying to make it better. And what pays for that is our social fabric, tied together by the money and the collective earnings and the taxes we all pay from doing business here. And when you buy from elsewhere, so you get your cheap drill, you get your cheap knife, it takes almost as much energy and money to make a piece of crap as it does to make an awesome one. And when you buy American, you're buying a value system. When you buy an American product, whether it's from me or any one of my wonderful American competitors here in the United States, you're underwriting our values. You're saying our values are worth spending the money for. And in doing so, I will talk to one of my countrymen who'll help me if I have a problem with the product. Cheap's only cheap now. Cheap ain't free. When you get a cheap something from somewhere, there's a price that's been paid and a corner that's been cut, and the bill will come due. Maybe the Chinese will have to pay it, maybe someone else will have to pay it, but it's going to come due. In the environment, in the human loss, that all has to get made up for. I want to make a product that lasts a lifetime, and we support it for a lifetime. And I want my countrymen to appreciate it enough to spend that premium dollar for that premium product that gets a unparalleled purchasing experience. I want it to last them a lifetime. If you grew up in this country and your grandfather or a relative worked on the Brooklyn Bridge, or worked on one of the skyscrapers, or worked on the one of the Bay Bridges or something, if you grow up around that, every time you drive over that, your whole childhood, your dad says while you're sitting in the back seat, your dad goes, "See that bridge? Your grandfather built that bridge when he got off the boat from Greece." Your whole life. And when you're a little kid, you're playing with your gadgets, you're drawing, and you roll your eyes. And then your dad passes on, and you're driving in the car and your kids are in the back, and you go, "You see that bridge? Your great-grandfather built that with his bare hands coming off the boat." Your whole life, it doesn't go away. And you think about it no matter where you go. And I am surrounded by a team of guys. We all want to see, after we're gone, our kids saying, "Your grandfather made that knife." Or your great-grandfather. It's been in the family for 120 years. Knives last a long time if you make them right. And we all want to be part of that. We want to leave our little dinosaur footprints. Yeah, we want to leave our footprints in the bedrock. Everybody wants to leave their mark. We all want to leave their mark. So that's what our knives are all about. I want to change the world one knife at a time. That's all I wanted to do. If I can do that, I'm doing something. If somebody like me takes every penny I've ever had and throws it into something and takes the risk and invests and starts a venture like this, an enterprise, and 20, 30, 40, 50 people get to jump on the boat with me, awesome for all of us. And if 10 other people can hear my story about being a regular guy and doing this, maybe they can do it, and whatever it is, shows the American dream is not gone. You just got to go for it, and you got to want it. And you got to be willing to work harder than everybody else around you. It doesn't mean step on their heads to get there, but it means you got to be able to work harder. When everybody else, when the whistle blows and they're ready to put their hammer down and move on, you got to be willing to keep hitting the hammer. But it's still the land of opportunity for everybody who wants it. I'm walking, living, breathing proof of that.